Anders Ericsson went to the Music Academy in West Berlin, one of the best academies in the world. And he looked for the range of musicians in terms of their levels, and he was able to divide them, with the help of their teachers, into three categories. One category, these are the great musicians, present and future. These are the ones who will play in the Berlin Philharmonic or the London Symphony Orchestra or Boston Symphony Orchestra, the best orchestras in the world, or they'll be the best soloists in the world. That was one group. The second group, these will be professional musicians like the first group, but they will play in quote-unquote lesser orchestras. Good ones, but not the best, not the elite. Third group, these are good musicians, great musicians. They got into the music school in Berlin, but they are going to become music teachers. So good, but not amazing, not great. And he looked for distinguishing characteristics, things that could identify why the three groups differ, something to predict the difference among the greatest, the good, and the less good musicians. They looked for things associated with talent. They looked for the teachers that they had. They couldn't find any difference. Now, note that the people who get into this school, of course, have a certain specific level of talent, ability. They're not tone deaf. But beyond having the basic talent, they couldn't find any difference to account for the consequences, the ultimate difference in their performance. They found one difference and one difference alone, and that was the number of hours that they practiced up until that point. The experts, the great, those who were already or were going to be in the top orchestras, who were going to be famous soloists, up until that point had spent 10,000 hours in practice over a period of many years. The second group, who were good but not the best, professional musicians but not in the leading orchestras in the world, up until that point had practiced on average 8,000 hours. The future music teachers had spent 4,000 hours on average. That was the only difference that they saw. Now, one of the reasons why we fail to see it, one of the reasons why so many of us have assimilated, internalized the myth of talent, as if it's all or mostly about talents, is because of people like Mozart. We know the stories of Mozart. At the age of 3, he started playing. At the age of 12, he composed phenomenal symphonies. But even if you look at the life of Mozart, yes, he had talent, more talent than 10 people put together. However, it wasn't just about the talent. Malcolm Gladwell, in his wonderful book, Outliers, writes, even Mozart, the greatest musical prodigy of all time, couldn't hit his stride until he had his 10,000 hours in. Practice isn't the thing you do once you're good. It's the thing you do that makes you good. There are no shortcuts. Once again, this does not mean that talent is not important. This does not mean that identifying our strength, what we're good at, is not important. It is extremely important. What is important, though, is to combine these two understandings, focusing on our strengths, on our talents, on our God-given gifts, and investing a lot in it. There is so much talent in the world, most of it wasted. There is so much potential in the world, most of it unrealized. And if we want to realize the talent, if we want to realize the gifts that we have, we must, there are no shortcuts. We must put in the hours. To get to the top of our field, more and more research shows that it's about 10,000 hours. And of course, this is an average. There are outliers. It varies. There are certain areas where 20,000 hours are necessary, other areas where 5 would suffice. 5,000 hours would suffice. But regardless, hard work, effort is necessary.